I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about, do I need to be single?
This is important. Some of you may be wondering after a breakup if you need a period of singleness.
Something to consider.
We've all heard that hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Before we get into it, I did want to say that Craig and I are available for coaching sessions. So if you would like to talk about your situation personally with one of us, you can go to the website and book from there.
Yep. You know, after a breakup, some people will say, well, the fastest way to get over someone is to
get under someone.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You know that the Applebee's girl's mom actually told her that?
God.
I guess lucky for me.
Oh no. Oh no.
And then unlucky for me, as it turned out. But then lucky for you all, because here we are. One bad piece of dating advice led to the breakup and the dating and a whole chain of events.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, after a breakup, you really do have to think about whether or not you should be single, because, you know, you don't want to hurt other people. That's a big thing. You know, you're hurting. Think about how you're feeling right now. What happens if your ex comes back?
And I've heard many of you on calls say, yes, I'm dating, but I will drop this person in a minute if my ex comes back.
Yep.
So you have to be really aware of where you're at. We talk about it all the time. It's very important to be transparent with who you're with about your state.
Yeah, so you should wonder and think about, you should think about and consider, do you need to be single? Because you could be causing harm to the dating pool if you just jump into something else because of your heartbreak.
Right.
Please be considerate.
Please. And if you're asking this question of, should I be single? Then those thoughts are floating in your mind. That maybe you dating right now would be more of a detriment than it would be a help to anybody.
Yeah.
I know some of us are hopeful after a breakup. Some of you might be ready to jump into dating and have been waiting for this moment. But really, really, really be self-reflective and be honest about where you're at. Be honest about it.
Yep.
So we typically think that yes, being able to take some time after a breakup to gather the pieces, to be able to, you know, figure out who you are again is really important after a breakup. Our emotions are typically a roller coaster after a breakup. They go up, they go down. A lot of times we're feeling highly emotionally intense states that we don't know what to do with. Sometimes we end up trauma dumping on the people that we're dating. We end up telling them all about the breakup. It's happened to me. I remember being in someone's kitchen, telling them all about my breakup. And I remember as the words were slipping through my mouth, I was thinking, man, this does not feel good for me. This probably doesn't feel good for him. This was a very bad idea altogether. So please be mindful of that, you know, of who you're dating. And sometimes after a breakup, we're kind of like this balloon. We have all of these feelings and thoughts and everything going on inside of us stored up, that the minute that we're in a vulnerable, romantic type of situation where the conversation starts to get a little bit deeper, it's almost like that balloon is like dying to be popped. We just want to let it out and tell someone everything that we've been going through. So really be mindful of where you're at. Make sure you have the right outlets in your life, the safe outlets. Now, don't use singles in your area as therapists, okay?
Not even if they're therapists.
Please, especially if they're
We don't need the. You don't want to trauma dump on the therapist. Then the poor therapists have to help everybody. You're going to do more harm for everybody.
Right. It's not going to be good. You really have to be aware of how you're impacting people when you're going through that grief. And a big part of it is also being able to soothe yourself after the breakup.
Yes.
You don't want to use people as crutches. When we're having these highly emotional states, we have to learn through time how to be able to calm ourselves down.
This is huge.
Grief is normal, it's natural, it happens, but we are all responsible for our own emotions, and there's a place and a time for everything. If you've listened to our channel for any length of time, you know that we're huge advocates for feeling your feelings, right? But there is an appropriate space and time.
Yeah. You have to learn to soothe yourself. That is absolutely critical, not only for getting through the breakup, but for having a healthy relationship. Because anxiety comes up often.
Right. And being single, a period of singleness can help you to express those emotions to your support system, to mental health professionals, to people who are trusted. So it prevents you trauma dumping on others that aren't necessarily equipped to carry with you those feelings.
Yep.
Yeah.
It could be overwhelming and off-putting for someone that you're dating to be dealing with your grief, especially when they're trying to get to know you, and maybe they see all the good qualities that you have. Right now you're so obsessed with your ex that you're not seeing how you show up and your value and your worth, because all you're concerned about is your exes. So you're not really seeing the person that you are and how you're showing up for this new person that they may really enjoy and they may really like you. And they're sitting there talking about your breakup and what happened and, obsessing about your ex when you can be present with somebody new who actually is attempting to spend time with you and be there with you. So it really does take time for your grief to subside and for you to start feeling better, and it happens kind of when you're not realizing it, instead of seconds of being okay, it goes to minutes, and then slowly goes to a day, and then days, and then weeks, and you slowly get there over time, and you learn to become independent again, you learn to be single again, and you learn to have your own routine again.
Right. This is huge. Because we can become dependent on an ex. An ex has a certain role in our lives, and sometimes they've helped us out in many ways. Sometimes we've gotten used to them making coffee in the morning. Maybe we've gotten used to them emotionally supporting us in certain ways. So you don't want to impose your ex's role into somebody new in your life. And it really takes time for you to distance from your situation with your ex for you to be ready to see someone new and for you to have a fresh heart for someone new in your life.
Yep.
So doing your things on your own can be difficult at first. It can be hard to adapt. And if you're a person who is a serial monogamist, who you date person after person after person, this can be a challenge because...
just think about how many people can't be alone at night.
Yes, yeah.
They want somebody over. And you're using people because you don't want to be alone.
Right. And
get a cat. Your ex
right.
can call you and ask about the cat.
There might be people who are willing to step up to do that. In fact, they probably are.
Yeah.
But you have to think about the long-term goal. Is that going to be the thing that helps you in the long term? You want to be confident in yourself, knowing that you can live an independent life. And if you so choose to have a partner, that's something that's intentional for you. So in singleness, you can become more and more aware of the dysfunctions from the relationship. You can become more aware of that need to be needed or that need for validation from others. So while we're social creatures, it's normal and healthy to want attention from others. When we start to notice this dependence, when we start to notice this, man, I really can't be okay unless there is somebody who's feeding me, tucking me in at night, and calling me beautiful every day.
That sounds like me.
Sounds like me too. Then you really have to start rethinking things for yourself. So we want you all to get to a place where you can be confident within yourself. And this is very personal. You decide when you start to date again. And this is really about being attuned to yourself. Do you feel confident in yourself? Can you be single and you're choosing not to? So all things to consider. And this part is very important because the less that you are able to fully depend on a relationship, for your self-esteem, for your happiness, for your self-worth, then the more you're able to distance yourself when you see mistreatment. You know, the less tolerable you will be of someone taking advantage of you, of hurting you, and the more you're able to protect yourself. So this period of singleness can also be a period of recovering your own resources, being able to say, hey, there's certain ways that I won't be treated. I'm not just going to settle for anyone to not be single.
Yep. And, we're talking a lot about healing while you're single and after a breakup especially, but you also can heal while you're in a relationship. And this is what I talk about when I say put yourself on probation. If your ex comes back, keep focusing on growing and healing and getting to a good place. Because if you don't, you're going to wind up regressing. 6 months later, you're going to be in another breakup and you're going to feel devastated that you didn't really work hard enough. There's no perfect time. Like, we don't know the perfect time when we are perfectly healed or ready. But if you just focus on the process and make that your journey, you'll get to a place where it's good enough, just like the good enough parenting, right? And, when you're good enough to be in a relationship that you can navigate another person's needs and handle the struggles of a relationship, like, having tough conversations or being vulnerable, then you're going to be in a position to have something healthy again.
Exactly. Yeah, there is no perfectly healed person that you have to be in order to be eligible to be in a relationship again, right? We're all a little bit broken in our own ways, and we come together a little bit broken, and sometimes that pairing actually helps heal us. So we have to be open to being single. We have to be open to being in a relationship, and it's really all about timing. If you notice that you do start to try dating again after a breakup and you notice, man, a lot of this grief is coming up, at that point you can decide what to do. Well, is this relationship established enough for me to bring this up to my partner and work through this? Is this something that's more of my responsibility at this point? So a lot of this has to do with timing. A lot of this has to do with where you're at in your own healing journey. We think singleness is important. We think a lot of growth can happen, a lot of independence, a lot of confidence can happen in this period of singleness. So I say embrace it for as long as you need to.
And for everybody, that will be different.
Yep, exactly.
But it's a lot to think about. But you do want to think about it, for yourself, for your mental health, for the people that you're dating and their feelings, and in a way for your ex as well, right? All right, so hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.